This is your Daily 5 for Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. For one of our commentary films this week, Lando spun the wheel and landed on a movie from 1992 titled Full Contact. And the only thing I knew about this movie was that Chow Yun-Fat was in it. Otherwise, I really knew nothing else about it. I had seen a screenshot of him in the film. I had actually incorrectly thought that this was a movie that was a few years or a number of years before Hard Boiled, when in fact it's from the same year. And that's, I think, the reason I've never heard of this is in comparison to Hard Boiled, this is a footnote of a movie. Now, if Hard Boiled had come out, let's say, a year or two later, I think this movie would probably be far better known to basically anybody who's into Hong Kong action films, because it's a very entertaining film on its own. But in the shadow of Hard Boiled, which is really basically the showcase for Chow Yun-Fat, this operatic, wonderful action film where gunplay becomes ballet and doves are everywhere, and there's just set piece after set piece that are memorable for all time. Full Contact does have a problem with the shadow of what came, I guess, after. I don't know actually what the release is, but they were the same year. And in the same year, this would be like putting out, I don't know, Battle Beyond the Stars and Star Wars in the same year and having Mark Hamill in both of them. Yes, they're both entertaining, but you know one is the one that really is going to be remembered and the other one isn't. Full Contact is a movie about a gang of disreputable people that end up all fighting one another. Chow Yun-Fat is among a group of small-time crooks and kind of hustlers who are in a world of bigger hustlers that are hustling other people, and they become enveloped in this back and forth when Chow Yun-Fat's friend basically welches on a loan shark repayment, which leads to the supposed death of Chow Yun-Fat. And then things happen after that. Now, that's not really spoiling much of the movie. That's maybe, because there is a bit of a setup to this. But really, the story itself is sort of secondary. Movies like this live or die by their action scenes. And this movie is very competent in its action scenes. It also has a number of very memorable characters. I actually love the cast in this. There's such interesting different characters, both on the side of our protagonists and the side of the antagonists. Very, very just specifically tuned characters who all have distinct personalities and kind of character traits, and in some cases visual traits. There is a wonderful, and I don't know why this was only used at the end of the movie unless they didn't think of it during the filming or they only had the money to do it at certain points. There's this thing they do when people fire bullets at each other that reminds me in some ways of the Max Payne games. It's not, or even the Sniper Elite games. It's very hard to describe it, but they only really use it in the last act, where when people fire, the camera kind of goes towards the side and then follows the bullet as if it's on a rail with it. And it's beautiful. It's a magnificent looking technique that I don't know that I've ever seen anybody else do. And they really should, because it looks great. And again, there had to be some reason why they didn't use it until the very end of the movie, unless they really just wanted the shock value of it because it's so cool looking. But if it was something I was doing, I'd be splattering that everywhere like bullet time in the Matrix. I would just use it until you were sick of it within that one movie. But there's really wonderful stuff in this movie. So I would recommend it to people, especially if you're a fan of Chow Yun-Fat, which I happen to be. And I don't know how I never heard about this movie before, except again for its proximity to Hard Boiled. Because if you've never seen either of them, watch this one first, because you're not going to want to come off of Hard Boiled to this. That's just a tip. If you've never seen either movie, watch Full Contact first. You will see everything that makes Chow Yun-Fat so great, the charisma, the natural kind of just charm that he has, and that's going to get blown to 1,000 once you get to Hard Boiled. So it is absolutely a movie worth seeing, and if you have seen Hard Boiled, it's still worth watching. Like I said, it's just if you haven't seen either of them, do not watch them in this order: Full Contact, then Hard Boiled. But it is a movie worth seeing. Again, you see everything that makes Chow Yun-Fat so great in that initial movie, and you understand why Hard Boiled is so good and so much, in so many ways, better. But this is still a very entertaining movie, and if you're a fan of Hong Kong action, or Chow Yun-Fat specifically, you will still have a very good time with it, especially with that weird camera technique they use at the end. So Full Contact, it's not Hard Boiled, but it's still a lot of fun. Later.